Okay, hello and welcome guys to a World Cup review sort of video. Um, if you don't know, there was a geoguessr World Cup that was held roughly 2 weeks ago, and I was playing in it. I was representing India. I'm wearing the jersey now. You can see it. It says geoguessr World Cup. There's the India flag, and there's also my name on the back. Uh, it was a really great experience, and these were all the players. So I did sort of a recap kind of video like at the very end of the event. Um, just like looking back at the whole times and the event in general. And yeah, it was really, really fun to meet everyone that I met. Um, and it was a big success, the event, so I'm sure they'll do another one in the future. But for this event, I kind of wanted to go back and look at some of my games that were played in the tournament just to sort of analyze them and see what could have been done better. I mean, nothing's going to change at this point, of course, but it's sort of, learning from your mistakes kind of thing. So the GeoGuessr devs were kind enough to provide the game links for all the games that we played. So I'm just going to go in order. I was in Group C, and this was basically my group. Ananana, CG, Jupa, myself, RC, and Wolf. And then I'm just gonna go in the order that I played. I played Jupa first, then I played Wolf, then I played RC, then I played CG, and Ananana in the end. My game with Ananana was broadcasted on the B stream, which we'll also take a look at. And then I was lucky enough to qualify for the next stage, the top 12 stage, basically. Um, and I played Fungus there, so we can also look at that game as well. So let's get started already. Maybe some of you have played this game mode here where you can challenge the players and see some of their guesses, but like it's kind of out of context, so I think we should get more context here. So against Jupa, I played first the moving game. I must say, like we hadn't like played on the PC at all before that, so I had no idea about my settings or anything. So like the first round, I was just kind of trying to figure out my settings. But yeah, this is the game. This was the moving game. We were in Turkey, and then this was the location. Yeah, I couldn't find any useful information during the round. I think Jupa might have maybe found something, or maybe he just knew, like, I don't know, just had a better no moving guess than me. That's quite possible. So he was in the correct province, which is quite impressive. Wait, did it say that actually? Didn't say it, did it? Oh, it did say it. Oh my god. So apparently there was a sign at spawn, which I clearly ignored. So he got that. So he had a nice lead there. Second round was in Argentina. I think I might have just insta guessed on this one, or maybe I found signs. I don't actually remember what happened, but it clearly looks quite north with these sort of palms as well. Um, So I don't know if this was a region guess or actually I was on the correct road, so maybe I found the road number. So yeah, just minimal 26 damage. This round was brutal for me, and it's also because I just kind of, I had the info, but I found it like last second. I couldn't switch in time. So this was the Japan round. I moved here, and then I kind of moved ahead. I saw that there's something here that could be useful, but then I wanted to see the plate first in case I missed. Then I looked at the plate, I saw it's Kyushu, but before that I already had my marker down in like middle of Japan. Then I zoomed on this, it says Nagasaki City here, like the bottom three kanji here. So I had figured out that it was Nagasaki, but I couldn't even switch to Kyushu on time, and my marker just kind of stayed there, which was slightly annoying, but it was still the first game. I was still getting used to the whole setup and everything. So, but fair play to Jupa, he was very quick with getting Nagasaki there. Maybe he even found something else or noticed something else that I didn't. This round was in Ecuador. I don't really think it was particularly like remarkable. Yeah, I think we might have not found any info and just sort of region guessed. Um, so that took another 600 off me. This one was Ukraine. Now for me, Ukraine was like a weak point. Um, so I didn't really want to give him too much time because I kind of assumed that he knows more about Ukraine than me. Um, so I just insta guessed. Although, like, I was really hoping to win moving against Jupa because, like, I had a sort of strategy for every player, right? So for Jupa, I was kind of hoping that I'd beat him moving. I was almost certain I'd lose to him no moving. And then NMPZ, I was trying to hope that I could win against him as well. But yeah, like rounds like these, I just sort of had to insta guess because I have no idea about Ukraine. I'm basically completely lost. So I probably moved a little bit just in case there's a sign like very near us, but I don't think there was any. So yeah, ultimately we ended up with similar guesses, so it wasn't too bad. Got even a few points off him. This round was just in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Yeah, I mean, it's just both of us, of course, knew it. This Finland round, I think again we had no info. Yeah, it's just like a dirt road in the middle of the forest. So it was a bit of a region guess from me, and I shouldn't have gone that north, I guess. His guess was much nicer, and he took off 1300 there. At this point, I was really like not in the greatest spot because my health, as you can see, is now down to 553, and he's still on 5.8k. But then we had this crazy like Canada trek around, and this was just like kind of weird. We had some text here. I saw French and English, so in places like national parks, I think you can get that like anywhere in Canada. So I wasn't really like, too focused on the French being there. But then I looked at this landscape, and then like I could have seen this being as far east as Nova Scotia and also as far west as Ontario. So I kind of hedged in Quebec. Um, could have also maybe hedged for Newfie. I don't really remember. And then he went New Brunswick, I assume maybe because of the bilingual signs. But it was really far north in Alberta, and I feel like that's really hard to guess unless you've already seen this once. So that got me some points. And the next round was in Eswatini. I was really hoping because, as you know, there was a 10-round limit for every game. So I was really hoping that I'd get a good round. But it was Eswatini, and he had a very good guess again. It's just I don't really think there was anything much remarkable about the round. It's just yeah, just some. But that's a really good guess from him. I just kind of hedged in the middle, and it came down to round 10. So I was hoping that I would get something where I could get a lot of damage on him. But instead, he got a lot of damage on me. So it doesn't really matter that there was a 10-round limit because he already won there. It was Canada, and I wasn't really like we had English on the sign, of course. It was Gen 2, and I didn't really like it was sort of hilly, so I kind of thought that this is probably not the plains, but it ended up being the plains. It was Manitoba. Um, I think this just comes down to, you know, practice. Like he probably most definitely has practiced Canada more than me. Uh, and then I guess with these like birch trees lining the road, it kind of makes sense that it's, in the plains. But yeah, at that moment, I thought it was kind of hilly, made a bad guess, and lost the moving game. So that's the one where I thought I would have the advantage. So I was down one already, but then, um, yeah, no moving. I was almost certain I would lose to him, but it was quite the game in the end. We started off round one in Norway. This is the no moving game, by the way, and yeah, it was kind of rocky. Had quite a bit of trees, so yeah, I just kind of like This was just a, you know, it felt a bit western, of course, because of the rocks and yeah, like, I don't really know how to explain this, but like these sort of rocky cliffs or whatever, I feel like I associate more with like the west coast of Norway. So I just kind of went there somewhere between Bergen and Stavanger, and it ended up being a decent guess. He was not too far off either, though. So 300 points there, nothing too crazy. This round was in Kenya. We had also a sign actually. Yeah, so we just had a sign here saying Embu, and then just looking at the landscape, also that mountain to the east. Um, was kind of thinking of this area. Initially, I was looking more like in the west, but then I saw the sign. It said Embu. Embu is quite big here. And then we were like obviously not inside Embu. Um, and we had that big mountain to the east. So I just kind of lined up the road, and I was thinking that it would be this mountain here, which I was trying to line up for, but it ended up being these mountains, I guess. So yeah, basically I was just looking for a mountain near Embu and saw this. So slight bit of damage again, nothing too crazy. Next round was also in Kenya actually, and I was able to get 2k damage on it. You also have to remember that the multipliers like rapidly increased, you know, like uh, already round 2 was 0.5x, round 3 was 1x, round 4 was 1.5x. So it was like really building up, or like I messed it up, 1.52, you know what I mean. So this was already like 2x multipliers. And I can totally see why he went Mombasa here because at first I also thought it's Mombasa, but I was looking for any palm tree, you know. I saw a couple of banana trees, but not really a palm tree. And I was like ready to click Mombasa as soon as I saw a singular palm tree. But yeah, I looked and looked and I did not find a singular palm tree, which is kind of odd for Mombasa. So ended up just clicking Nairobi. And it was Kisumu, which kind of makes sense because near the lake also you get sort of sandy soil, which makes sense for that location. So in hindsight, Kisumu was gettable. But yeah, that gave me 2k points or so. Oh yeah, they show the multiplier here. And then we went to 2.5x, and it was in Spain, and I think Jupa might have missed. So basically we had this location. As you can see, we have a Spanish sign here. And then here we also have the Spanish hunting sign, and it also says the, you know how you have the Coto Privado de Casa in Spanish, but here it says casa, and it says area. I don't know if the area means something, but like casa definitely sounded Catalan to me. I don't know if Jupa just didn't see this, or maybe he didn't realize it was Catalan or something like that. And he ended up going west. I ended up just clicking somewhere in Catalonia and was pretty close. And that ended up basically winning me the game. So somehow I ended up flawlessing Jupa in 4 rounds on no moving, which I'm quite happy with, of course. But it's not like he made like a terrible guess, you know? It's like I can understand his guesses. Just I feel like I played that quite okay and it kind of worked out in the end. So we went on to the NMPZ. As I said earlier, I was hoping to win the NMPZ. Started off in Chile. Yeah, honestly, it kind of surprised me how southwest that location was because it was kind of hilly and it didn't look super south to me, but clearly it was a bit northwest of Temuco. I went a bit more south than him, pulled off 400 points. Nothing too crazy, but still not too bad. Round two, I think he just kind of forgot that Panama exists, which also happened to Consus later on, which is fair enough. I think the NMPZ was like something like this, I think. And then it did say Venezuela, Colombia here as well, so maybe he took that into account. But I think we could see a little bit of this blur. Um, and if not, then I still notice that there's no front plate here, and then this plate has like a strip on top. And then, yeah, it just didn't look like any other country to me. Also, you can see the like vertical sticker here, which, Panama poles usually have that sticker, either vertical or horizontal or both. Um, so yeah, I, luckily I was able to figure out it was Panama and MPZ. And I think he just forgot. But he still was fairly close, like that's probably the closest you can be for not being in Panama. So fair enough. But that gave me a solid lead, 1800 damage. Next round was just in Belgium. I think it was also kind of clear that it was. Which way were we facing? I think we were facing this way. So yeah, there's all these like, brick houses, like just kind of felt like the Dutch part of, just looks like Dutch houses basically. So yeah, I just kind of clicked between Ghent, Antwerp, and Brussels, and ended up being a bit closer. Next round was in Greece, but very close to Bulgaria. Both of us just kind of clicked somewhere in the middle, but his guess was, yeah, NMPZ was like something like this, I think. But yeah, both got Greece. He was a bit closer, and he got off 600 damage. And this one also ended quite quickly, actually, in 5 rounds with this Japan guess, which I'm quite happy with personally. We had this location, like NMPZ, it looks something like this. And honestly, there weren't really like any specific clues for Hokkaido that like with the pole, for example, I have no idea if this is a Hokkaido pole or anything. Same with like, I don't know, like stickers or, yeah, just the normal meta stuff. The only thing that really, I think we could also see this, yeah. The only thing that I really struck as Hokkaido to me was just the roofs, because Hokkaido has these like metal roofs, and yeah, that's pretty common in Hokkaido. Vegetation also we couldn't really see much, so it was a bit risky just going off of the roofs. Um, but I trusted it enough, and it was indeed in Hokkaido, and he probably didn't trust the roofs enough and just kind of hedged, and that was game, honestly. That was 7,000 damage. So yeah, round 4 is where I took damage, but other than that, also quite happy with how this played out. So in the end, I did manage to beat Jupa in no move and NPC. So that was a pretty solid start. Um, Next game I had was against Wolf Trekker. And again, of course, we started with the moving game and then went to the no moving game. So this one should be the moving game. Uh, let's see. Can I actually do this? No, I can't. Okay. Because I don't really want to show. What if I just do this? I can just use my Twitch BRB screen and then open these game links so that we can do this and this. Okay. All right, so this is game number 2 for me, was against Wolf. This was moving, so we started off in Canada somewhere. Yeah, I mean, we had this blue car and this just sort of very flat landscape. Um, Also, angle was northwest southeast. Saw some bit of corn, and it doesn't really look like the plains, so it was quite natural that this was Ontario, southern Ontario somewhere. Yeah, I think we just sort of lined up somewhere that makes sense and clicked. I think he was probably hedging more for this area south of Ottawa. I didn't want to hedge that far because I thought it's more likely to be here. But yeah, also the angle here made sense, so I just clicked there. But it was a bit further out. So got 300 damage there, so not too bad. Next round was in Estonia, and I think there was signs not too far from spawn. Yeah, like here I think we had some signs. So yeah, with this, I kind of found the area and just sort of instantly guessed as soon as I found the roads nearby. So he had like 15 seconds after that, and he did manage to 5k in that time, which is really good. But yeah, nothing too crazy. 21 points off me. Next round was actually a very impressive guess from him. I don't know if there was something that he found like immediately, because he made this guess like fairly quickly, you know. I took a fair bit of time to figure out where we might be. I knew it was like Nigeria and northwest somewhere probably, because of like the camera quality and just the landscape as well. But yeah, I didn't really find info, but I did in the end reach like a kilometer marker. I don't know if I'll find it now, so uh, but found a kilometer marker that said like K and G to the east. And in hindsight, that makes sense. That was Kontagora, but I had no idea. I thought it might just be like Kano government or something. I don't know. So I just went like northwest of Kano, but yeah, it was here. But I found that sign like kind of late anyway, so I don't think I would have gone there, um, even if I figured it out. But yeah, Wolf just had that very quickly compared to me, so fair play. That was a really good guess. Next round was just San Marino. It did say like Rimini or something kind of close by. I don't know exactly where, but yeah, I found the sign that said Rimini and it looked like San Marino, so just click there. Basically insta guessed that, and then yeah, he was also in San Marino, so no big damage. Next round we were in South Africa. I'm pretty sure we didn't find any signs, or did we actually? Am I on the correct road? No, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think either of us found any signs, so it was just a landscape guess really. But these sort of like plateau mountains and this, I don't know how to describe it, like the golden long grass kind of reminded me of like it's not like close to Lesotho, but like in this sort of area, I feel like. So I just kind of clicked there, ended up getting a good region guess, so I was quite happy with that. He was a bit more southwest. So got a good amount of damage there. This round I was actually very happy with. Was a nice 5k in Russia. Um, I mean, it wasn't like crazy guess, but we had firstly the red car, which kind of already narrows down the regions a bit. And then we were on a bridge, east-west bridge, quite long bridge even. I could see that there's a blue sign there. So I'm just going to move like this for now. Uh, Still not close. Yeah, so I reached this blue sign eventually, and it said Nizhny Vartovsk, which is this big city here, close to Surgut. So I feel like, I mean, I also was thinking Surgut initially with like you know, the not too tall trees, like you can see these. And I also kind of feel sandy, so was thinking Surgut area, and then I saw Nizhny Vartovsk, and I was like, okay, that helps. So maybe Wolf didn't reach that sign or didn't find the sign. Maybe he went the other way. Um, or maybe he just didn't realize that this is a big city. I don't know. One of one of many possibilities. So he went close to Surgut. But yeah, I saw the sign. Nizhny Vartovsk was west. So I just sort of started looking, and then this immediately shows up. Quite a big bridge. And it also says Savkino here, which is also there. So I just guessed that was a pretty nice 5k. Fairly quick 5k as well. And that gave me like 2k damage as well. So that's pretty good. Next round was in Qatar, Doha. Yeah, I mean, it's just some random like suburb road. Um, yeah, we had some signs, I guess, but doesn't really matter. Just got 100 points off there. Next round was in Hungary. I feel like there was some info I found like at the very end of this round, maybe, but it didn't really help. I just clicked middle in the end. He went a bit east of Budapest. Not sure. Maybe he had some reasoning there. I just clicked middle of Hungary and ended up being closer. So another 200 points there. And then final round was actually I'm actually so happy with this round. I had a pretty solid lead, but round 9 we had uh, like we were next to a lake, and the coverage already made me think of Latvia, Latvia cam. But yeah, with this blue car with antenna, I feel like I've seen that quite often in Latvia as well. But then this sign did it for me. Like this is clearly a Latvian sign, with like the thick red border outside. That's a Latvian thing. So I was pretty sure it's Latvia. I think Wolf maybe did not know that sign, uh, did not know that that's a Latvian sign in specific. So I feel like he was maybe just scanning all the Baltics. And I saw that there's not too much information. So at this point, I just sort of lined up the road. You can see that it's a massive lake as well. So it's definitely something that's probably findable on the map. So I just found this, lined it up. And then I just looked at like every big lake in Latvia basically. In the end, I reached this one and it kind of looked good. Although I was looking at this spot, I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, it was this spot, but it doesn't really matter which spot it was. Didn't really 5k, but found the lake, which was quite nice. And that gave me the win in the moving game. Then we go to the no moving game. Let's close these. Also this. Yeah, no moving game. We started in the Netherlands. Nothing too crazy, just standard Netherlands rounds. I don't really think there was any specific info for either of us. He just clicked middle. I kind of went a bit more east. But yeah, he was closer. That's good. Next round, you can see is big damage because it was a Russia round, and it wasn't an easy round by any means. Um, I didn't really know the road or the area. I feel like a lot of good Russia players would probably recognize exactly where this is. But we had just the black car, um, also this antenna, which is not really blurred, because I did consider like it being more east in the beginning, but it didn't really make sense. But yeah, we just sort of had like these mountains covered with pine trees, or I don't know if they're exactly pine trees, but like you see what I mean, like these kind of trees, like the conifer trees. Um, we also had like some river type thing here. You can also see a bridge crossing there. So yeah, basically all we had was this. Yeah, there's the foliage, and I don't really know because I'm not that good at Russia, so it's often hard to put Russia rounds in words for me because I can't like say that it's this tree that makes it east. It's just more of a vibe thing, you know. I've played enough Russia that like I have some vibes for some areas, and they can be wrong, but they can also be right. And this time it was right. Um, so yeah, I kind of was thinking with like the overcast coverage, with this car, and then with these mountains, and also just trees. Um, yeah, like those conifer trees, and then these sort of birch trees, and also this grass. Like it may sound like I'm just making things up, but like it's not like well maintained grass or anything. It's just like a lot of wild vegetation, which I feel like is a bit more common more east. I don't know. Maybe I'm making things up, but that's how I see it at least. So I kind of wanted to hedge near Abakan because it didn't really look like this road south of Pisk, and also didn't look like this road south of Abakan or north of Kizil. But it did feel like this Altai area to me in general, so I just kind of clicked somewhere. Actually, I might have found a river even. Yeah, maybe I was scanning for a river there and I found that river probably and clicked there. Um, but yeah, it ended up being not too far off, which I am quite happy with. Wolf went with the Urals, which also fair enough, but Quite happy with my guess there. Got quite a bit of points there. Round 3 was in Russia again, and this time he was closer. This one was one of the rounds that I struggled with more because it was um, an urban round, and yeah, I don't think there was any crazy info. We also had this sort of short antenna, which probably means something, but I didn't really know what it meant, short, blurry antenna. So yeah, ended up just being a vibe guess. I don't know if he found any info, but I'm guessing probably not. But yeah, he ended up being a bit closer. Um, Next round was wait, this is the moving game, right? No, this is the no moving game. Yeah, so oh yeah, of course, that's why. Yeah, so there was no info on the on the Russia round because it was no moving. And yeah, it was just some urban round. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to guess this. His hedge worked out better. Round 4, he had a really, really good guess, and I did consider it being all the way southwest, with these sort of flat areas, agriculture, and also some mountains. It does kind of look a lot like southwest, but I was a bit scared to commit to that. He did commit to it, and that paid off. I was scared it could be like somewhere up here. I was probably scanning for something that fit, but didn't find anything. But yeah, Mokpo, very nice guess from him. Got me down to 2k. So again, it was kind of even. I was only having a 600 point lead, so it could have gone either way. Next round, we got Russia again, and this time, fortunately, it worked out well for me. Was pretty flat, pretty dry, basically no vegetation, just some grass. Yeah, I mean, this landscape, I just immediately think of Astrakhan. So that's what I did. I just clicked close to Astrakhan. And it wasn't too far, I guess. It was a bit southwest. He ended up going west, and I think he wasn't particularly happy with his guess. Like later on, he told me that, he was just like, "Oh, why did I guess there? That doesn't really make too much sense." Which is fair enough. But yeah, that kind of worked for me, and then that was game basically. So yeah, that's it. Let's see the next game. So at this point, I was 2 matches up, and next I was against RC, and I have to say my games against RC have to be like the most like Pepega things ever because I have no idea, and like, it was just a comedy of errors, to be honest. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. Let's do this. Oh my God! Honestly, what comedy of games these were like. It's really are not meant to be World Cup games. So, which one was the moving one again? This one. Yes. Okay, so this was the moving game, and started off in Botswana. Just kind of looked close to Gaborone. We both clicked there. Maybe I tried lining up a mountain or something, but nothing too spectacular about the round. 19 damage. Next round was in Arge. He basically insta-guessed this round. Um, just based on the landscape, I assume. But yeah, we had this sort of ridge sort of thing, which, looks like Comodoro Rivadavia to me. I don't know if he meant to click Caleta Cordova, but maybe he did because there's a ridge there as well. But yeah, it just kind of looked like Comodoro. He did like insta guess that, so yeah, ended up being a bit closer, 100 damage. Next round was in Czechia. I think we both found signs, and I ended up getting a bit closer. I don't remember the exact details, but I think we had place names that we found. Yeah, so also a bit more damage there. And then we had this round, which was in Croatia. He had a very good guess there. I think we also had some info here, like not at spawn, but someplace. And I think He might have found it, or maybe he just region guessed. What was that? I wasn't in Discord, right? No. Okay. Um, okay, so that's that. Next round was in Madagascar. Yeah, we had the Madagascar Toliara Trekker. And it also just said Toliara at spawn, so um, kind of free. Both were there. This was in the UK. I don't really remember if we had info. Selby District Council, South Milford. I don't know if. Ah, he knew Selby, okay. Or maybe he found Selby, I mean. I think it also said like Yorkshire or something somewhere. So I don't know. Anyway, but he did indeed get closer there, which was nice. Next round was in Lesotho. Again, he was a bit closer. But again, not too much damage. Against RC, I wasn't really hoping to beat him moving because I know he's just really good moving. I was planning to, my goal was to beat him no moving and NMPC. But so yeah, I wasn't really like some of these rounds I was just insta guessing. Like this Lesotho round, I'm pretty sure I just insta guessed against him. Uh, Mainly because I know that he's also a very good moving player, so didn't want to give too much time. This round was actually very, very sad because I could have probably not won on this round. How much damage is this? 4k. No, I wouldn't. Oh, but it's 4.5. I might have actually won on that round because I kind of like he didn't find. So we were moving around a bit. It was in the Philippines, and we didn't find any info like right away. But I did find in the end um, a province name saying Abra, and um, for me it was like it took me a second to realize where Abra was, and I had already put my marker in the middle, and then I was like, oh, like I knew Abra was in the north, and I even clicked there in the end, but it took me like 2 seconds to realize that Abra is in the north. Because I had to sort of cycle through them in my head because it's not, I know them, but I still need a second to process where the province is. And that actually cost me basically the whole game. Because if I did indeed, like my click did register here, then I would have won because I basically would have had like 4.9k, which is 1000 points more. And with 4.5x, that would have been game, which would have been so good. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if only I didn't need that 1 second to remember where Abra was. Like if I just didn't doubt myself, of where Abra is, and just like straight up clicked north, because it's a risky guess to make. If Abra isn't north and I click all the way there, then I've basically lost. So I wanted like that one extra second to think, and then it just didn't work. And then I lost 2.6k. But it's annoying because I could have won on that. I had the info and he didn't. But I kind of threw there. And then this round, this round I just forgot to click. It's not like I didn't know it was Kyushu or anything. I just didn't click. Basically what you saw in the game against Fungus as well. Yeah, I don't really remember what I found, but definitely, yeah, the guy wires as well. And then I probably found more info, but just couldn't click in time. um, but he had a really good guess there, to be fair. Yeah, there's also the plates here, Kyushu plate on top. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of weird, but that sort of cost me the game. I mean, I probably would have lost anyway at this point because I got sort of that, like that mental blow from missing Abra. And then I was like 3k points down basically. And then I had only 2 rounds, which was enough to make a comeback, I guess, with these multipliers. But yeah, it's just um, I didn't click. I don't know what to say. And then like at this point, okay, it's not that comedic because, okay, I forgot to click. Happens. We go to the no moving game. Round one, we're in New Zealand. I was like, okay, there's some mountains, whatnot. Kinda could be Wellington area based on these. Like it's there's a lot of houses and buildings and whatnot. So a lot of people live here. We have some mountains. Could be around Wellington. I click Wellington. It's not a bad guess. And then he just doesn't click, and I get 5k points off of him. But literally the previous round before this, I hadn't guessed. So I was like, that's weird because if he just saw me not guess, surely he wouldn't make the same mistake. Surely he would be like extra careful to not make the mistake I did, right? So I was like, okay, there's got to be something wrong. So we loaded into the next round, which was an urban Argentina round. And I was like, okay, something's wrong here. Why is he not, you know, um, why is he not guessed? So I don't really know what exactly I was looking at. Uh, yeah, I saw some wooden poles. Oh, I saw this round pole as well. So I loaded in. I saw these like trash cans. I saw a round pole. I didn't see that plate, which was kind of annoying. And then I just put my marker down in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, because I saw the round pole. And then I started looking around for like the referees because I thought that maybe RC's PC isn't working and that maybe I shouldn't guess. So I had my marker down, but I didn't want to press guess because I was scared that his PC isn't working and that we need to restart. So I was trying to see like if there was a referee around, what's going on. But then RC just guessed, or or maybe we ran out of time. I don't know. I think we might have run out of time because I think RC was probably just like looking around, and maybe he was also kind of in shock that he forgot to guess round one. But yeah, there was like an arch plate right here, so it's not a hard arch. It's just like it's just urban, so it's kind of hard to tell where you are. So he just guessed PA. I might have guessed like Rosario to hedge. I don't know. Hindsight 2020. Um, and then he got 3k off of me, so I was still in the lead. And then I just made like the most stupid mistake of my whole tournament right there, other than not guessing because we loaded in, and I'm pretty sure it was kind of panned like either this way or this way. So the first thing I zoom on here is Bay Nebel, which sounds like very Romanian. And that's what I assumed. And then I didn't even look around at anything else, basically. Um, I just saw that. I lined up the road, and then I just started scanning every highway in Romania. Um, but if you look around a bit more, there is, uh, I guess, can you see it? Yeah, you can see it right there. There's an Austrian bollard right there. And if you look here, you can see even chevrons, you can see multiple Austrian bollards, you can see also this Austrian sign. There's like 1800 clues that it's Austria. Um, but no, I just saw this and then just started scanning Romania, which is kind of deserved. But this game was just a complete like comedy of errors. Like he didn't guess round one, then I was confused, and then I just made a stupid guess. So fair enough. And then that's how he beat me. 3 round game, even though he didn't guess round one. So quite an interesting game. And yeah, he was just somewhere in Austria. I ended up being in Romania. So yeah, that's all there is to that. Next, I played against CG, and I think CG is also going to make a video on this. Um, but those were some pretty intense games, I must say. I could have won those, but like, fair play to CG. He just played better, I think. Um, let's see. I mean, I was still up 2-1 on my matches right now, so I was still in a good position, and I really wanted to win against CG so that I could, in theory, also have a chance of winning the group if Jupa or someone else beat RC, and Jupa did indeed beat RC. So if I had won my game against CG, I would have also had 4 wins. Um, but yeah, RC had a big margin anyway. But anyway, let's see. Can I find this game against CG? The links. It's gonna be here or right here. So let's see. This is the moving game, and then this is the no move game. So let's start with the moving game first. Because it was quite intense, to be honest. So round one, basically we both 5K'd. We were in Botswana. I think there was signs um, nearby, something like that. Yeah, not at spawn, but like at the big intersection nearby, there were signs. And then I found it. I insta-guessed. CG had a little more time, and he 5K'd it. So 1 point there. Next round, we were in South Korea. Again, both very close guesses. We had info, I think. We had road number 25 and also the 1 or the 21, something like that. And it also said Jeonju on the sign, I think. So, yeah, we were both kind of close. Yeah, it said Jeonju here, 1 and 25, and then also 712. So, yeah, I found 1 and the 720, but not the 712. Was a bit further south, but doesn't matter too much. We were both kind of close. This round was so good for me because it wasn't an easy round. We were like in the middle of nowhere. I ended up going this way first, and there was no info. And then I turned back and went this way at like the very, very end. And there's like a big road like right next to us. Um, so it says Sabarusa, and then here it says SS131, I think, and then Tramanza. So SS131 is what I was looking for mainly because the SS roads are like the national roads um, in Italy, and then SP are like provincial roads. So the SS ones are kind of findable usually. My region guess was, of course, Sicily, Sardinia, or like somewhere here in the south. I started with Sicily. I saw SS122s, 121s, and whatnot. Couldn't really see 1.3s though. So I moved to Sardinia, and then I saw SS131 right here, 131 bis. Um, and that was like at the last second I found that, but CG had already guessed Sicily by that point. So I had like a 15-second countdown, and in that countdown I found both the sign for SS131 and also the SS131. So it was quite close. I would have probably guessed in the water if I hadn't found that sign. Um, but yeah, that gave me like 2.5k. That was huge advantage. Next round was Mexico. Probably should have known Sinaloa there, but Mexico was one of my weakest countries. So I just like insta guessed Mexico City, and I knew that CG is probably also the kind of person like unless he has a city name, he would probably also guess Mexico City on that round. I can open the round, of course. So yeah, I guess this plate is a Sinaloa plate, which I didn't know at the time. I hadn't really looked into Mex plates, but there were plenty of them. Um, so yeah, I just kind of guessed CDMX, hoping that he would also guess there and that it would be basically zero, and that's what happened. Next round, we both 5K'd. It was in Uruguay, and we just had like, yeah, this was basically just a landscape 5K. Yeah, we had this like ferry sort of thing that the car gets on, and you have the Uruguay flag. So yeah, only two real places to look, here and here, and both of us found it. This round is where like the tides turned quite a bit. Because as soon as we loaded in, I'm like, oh no, it's the US. This is where he makes a comeback. I didn't really know, like, I didn't have a region guess for this at all. I was thinking northern, especially with like the trees we have. But fortunately, or unfortunately, we had signs here, and I did see this diamond here, which, combined with these trees just made me think of Michigan. So I knew the state was Michigan. But I didn't know where Iron Mountain or Crystal Falls were. And also here we had something, I guess. Foster City, Escanaba. I had not heard of any of these. That's one of my weaknesses, is that I just don't know many place names in the US. And those were there. Apparently, I was scanning here, didn't find anything because like CG guessed this like very quickly. I assume he like reached the signs, found the city names, and I'm sure he knew the city names, and then just like straight up clicked right away, you know? Like he gave me basically no time to scan, so I only could scan like this part of Michigan and couldn't find anything. So yeah, that kind of was rough. 3.5k damage taken. Now I'm in, the back seat. So I'm hoping I get some favorable rounds. This round was in Sweden. I think we had like some info. I forgot what it was, but if we both guessed there, we probably had like something. I don't really remember. Um, but yeah, I think there was assigned to like Karlshamn, and then I must have like insta-guessed, hoping that he wouldn't know where that is. Um, but no, he was also there. And then this round is where he just completely destroyed me. Um, and looking back, I feel like I should have done better. But also he was in the lead from the US round, so I don't really know if I even did better in this round, I would have actually survived. But it was kind of a shit guess from me, to be honest. Manga Tapu, I didn't really know where that was, or if that was a place at all. But I did see some water there to the west. Um, and yeah, it was kind of flat. I think I also saw like mountains behind the water somewhere. Yeah, there, I think you can sort of see. Yeah, you can see those mountains there. I was thinking where you'd have like kind of big mountains like that to the west. So I had my plonk in Christchurch, you know, but it didn't really make sense because we also had some water there, so I didn't really know where to guess. But CG just had a great guess there, and Tauranga makes sense with these mountains, the water. I just didn't think of it, and that cost me the whole game. So fair enough. That's where he took the moving game. Then we went into the no moving game, and oh my. Also, this one I feel like I could have won, but didn't. We were in Bolivia, and I insta-guessed Chile. I don't know why I did that. Looking back, it's kind of annoying that I did that. We had these sort of mountains which you get near Ovalle, and then I saw the white car, and then I just clicked Chile. I don't know why I did that, because this is quite an easy Bolivia now that I look at it, but you know, it's just one of those things where insta-guessing can be scary. And that's exactly what happened, but luckily for me, CG also clicked in Chile. So it wasn't too much damage, but I could have lost like most of my health there already. And if I took some time, I could have probably done a solid amount of damage as well. That could have won me the game, but I didn't. And like, as if they want to tease us, next round was in Ovalle. Like, come on now. But we had these sort of mountains again, and this time we had a Chile pole that confirmed it, and then a huge city there. So it just looked like Ovalle to me. Then lined it up, and CG also was basically there. So yeah, we both nearly 5K'd that, which is quite impressive actually. Next round was in Latvia, just both clicked middle of Latvia. And then this Uruguay round, I'm pretty sure was like a repeat from one of the earlier World Cup matches. I don't remember which one. Um, and then, yeah, I just kind of remembered it. I don't know if he even saw that match or maybe he forgot. So that gave me even more points. Next round was just somewhere in the Philippines. We both clicked middle. So at this point, I'm still in the lead. Like, even though I messed up that Chile round, I'm still like 2k points in the lead. And then this was just Malaysia. He clicked middle. I went a bit more north, which is fine. Didn't really have too much info here, or not that, nothing that really helps me at least. So he got some damage off there. And then this round, this round was basically the deciding round. Round 7, 4x multiplier. And he had a very good guess. And it's kind of my fault as well because, okay, we had a yellow place, so we knew it's the UK, it's not Ireland. But it looked like these white houses, and I thought maybe this could be, Northern Ireland with these houses. But then also on this poll, I saw that there's clean it up in English here, and then there's another language here. So I knew it's bilingual. So I was pretty confident that it's not Britain, but I didn't know which language this was, which is quite annoying because now that I look at it, with these sort of like W's and the L here, LAN, that's like such a Welsh thing. But at that time, I wasn't really confident if it's Welsh, Irish, or Scottish. And then I just decided to hedge all of them simply because I didn't know which one it was. As you can see, I just clicked the water to hedge and he realized it was Welsh, which is fair enough. And then that gave him a lot of points. The thing with me is I'm not that good at the UK, so these houses might be like the most Welsh houses ever, but I wouldn't really know because I just don't know UK that much. So this is round 7. There's still 3 more rounds. And I am trailing, but I was still hoping that, with the high multipliers, I can still get a, good round where I could do some damage. So we go to round 8, was just Poland, so we both clicked middle. You don't want to take risks in Poland. Round 9, I was hoping we could get something better again. This time it was Bangladesh. I don't think there was info, was there? Yeah, I guess we had this sign, but I don't think this said the place name. Maybe there in like tiny letters, but that's kind of hard to read. So, yeah, basically no info for me at least. Um, he ended up making quite a risky guess, I guess, going south. I ended up going a bit more north to hedge because it didn't particularly feel sullen to me, I guess. Yeah, like these fields here kind of reminded me of like the north, but yeah, in the end, neither of us had a good guess really, but I did get 500 points off him there. But I was still like 1100 points trailing, and I had only one more round. So I was really hoping that we get like some big country or something that I could have an advantage on, and then we just get we just get a 5 cable round in Kenya. So not much I can do there. Just said Lomut and also there's something here I think. Yeah, and then we just have this sort of landscape, this car. Lomut's kind of findable as well, so both of us found it. And yeah, last round 6 damage on 5.5 multiplier. And yeah, so this is one of the games where the 10 round limit did definitely come into play. Um, but yeah, to be honest, the Wales round was the killer round for me. If I did recognize that it's Wales at least, even if I didn't click like Cardiff or Swansea or something, if I just like clicked middle of Wales, that could have maybe saved me. But yeah, fair play. He did recognize Welsh, and that came in handy. So that's game 4. And at this point, I've won 2 games and lost 2 games or 2 matches. And there's still one more match left with Ananana. And I think CG and Wolf were both in a position to also qualify after this. I really needed to beat CG because um, if I had beat him, I think I had basically guaranteed qualification for myself because I would have 3 wins and a game left. And I mean, I think CG had to face like RC after this game, and Wolf had to face Jupa after this game, I think. And they're both very tough opponents to beat, so I was kind of hoping that they would lose their games and that I could win. But um, yeah, basically I was up against Ananana, and I knew that I had lost 2-0 to both RC and CG, meaning that I really needed to, because if you the second tiebreaker was like how many games you won. So the first tiebreaker was like how many matches you won out of 5, and the second was how many games you won total. And that ratio was not looking good for me because I lost 2-0 in both my losses, and my win against Jupa was only a 2-1 win. It wasn't a 2-0. So I kind of knew that I really had to win 2-0 against Ananana, and if I didn't, I was probably going to be out in case Wolf or CG end up winning their games. Um, so it was a really tricky spot to be in, and uh, let's see what happened in the game with Ananana. I have that right here. Actually, that one was streamed, so we can just look at the stream. I have the stream open as well, and I can maybe commentate a bit. Um, let's close this and let's move my cam a bit here so that you can see the chat as well. Let's go theater mode. Okay, so this is what we had. You don't have the audio. Okay, so this was the first moving game. As I said, I really wanted to win 2-0. And we have Peter, Zigzag, and Kodiak commenting this, I think. So
Absolutely.
we start off here
I
in
think Ananana has some at least
Japan,
basic knowledge about Japan, so that might be helpful.
and then
Some pole plates.
I see the
Kodiak,
pole
how would you
plate here.
describe
I'm on the
Ananana's
left,
skill set?
and I see that that's
I think he was like
a
roughly
Chugoku
playing
plate. So
geoguessr from
already I
here,
know the
but before that
region.
he was very strong, like especially in
Uh,
Europe and South
so
America,
it's
like
like
no move.
Hiroshima,
His internet
Okayama,
really
that sort
doesn't
of
allow him to move
area.
at all, so he never played moving in his life before.
Um,
But yeah, generally he was very good. Then
Actually,
he had Tuni, and
I
now
don't know
he's
if we
playing for
should
World
watch
Cup
all this because this is going to
with
take a
Fungus.
long time, isn't it? I think it's just quicker for me to go through the links. So I'm sorry, commentators. I just want to save some time. um, so yeah, let's just go back to the game link. I don't know if I have this open actually. Okay, this one. So yeah, first round, as I said, off spawn we had the Chugoku plate, which I did notice. I think one of the commentators also mentioned that I'm not really looking at the transformers or anything, but it's like I saw the plate, I know it's Chugoku, so looking at the transformers doesn't really give me any extra information. That's why I wasn't looking at it. After that, I was just sort of hoping, because I did also learn how to read kanji, that maybe I can find some kanji for the prefecture, or maybe I can just find a road sign that tells me where we are. In the end, I found nothing. I don't know, I guess Kyushu. I just guessed Hiroshima, just like hedged all of Chugoku basically, which is this area. Ended up being closer. Second round was in Croatia, and I think the commentators kind of missed it. Oh, this is like a Pano ID location or something. Oh, okay, that works. So I think we spawn like here somewhere. And then I move like one click here, and then I see it says Split right here, which is quite a big city in Croatia. So I put my marker on Split. I move further and I find basically 5 cable signs, and then I ended up getting the correct town. It said Sista Provo on the town exit, and then there were like some road numbers, so I ended up finding that quite quickly. Ananana, I think, just found a big sign with like 1800 town names, so he just got confused. I hate those signs, like, it doesn't really help you too much. So that was pretty big damage as well. Then we went to Austria, and I did see the sign saying Funds, um, and it was annoying because there are like place names that you've heard of, but you don't really remember where they are. And this one was exactly like one of those because I was 100% sure I'd heard of this place that's right here. But I just, oh, was that the road number? Don't tell me. Oh, it was. No. Oh, I missed the road number there. That could have helped. Um, but yeah, I didn't find the place, even though I was certain I'd heard of it. So it was a bit annoying, but I just went west of Innsbruck to hedge. Ended up being a bit closer than him. And then last round uh, was Urban Arch. And yeah, it's just like one of those things where taxis are like very important. I saw a taxi right here. Then I was just trying to hope I can find it here. I There was the name already, but I didn't see it, and then I moved again and had to move again. But in the end, I found the taxi name again, San Miguel de Tucumán, which is a pretty big city. So I just guessed there. Yeah, it's just I think this is part of like moving game experience, which Anana doesn't really play that many moving games, as Kodiak was saying. His PC was not really equipped for it. Um, but yeah, it's just like moving games. You sort of tend to learn what to focus on and what not to focus on. As soon as I saw a taxi there, I was like, yes, it's worth spending even 20 seconds trying to see what's written on the taxi because that'll probably tell me the city. And looking for signs will probably be worse. So yeah, that was a pretty clean win. Quite happy with that. And then no moving game was also broadcasted. I'm sure you guys have seen it if you were following my games. Um, as I said, I wanted to win this 2-0 because if I didn't, then I might not have made it. And then after saying all this to myself and having the lead, I just throw round one. But to be fair, this is quite a hard round, and I'm like quite impressed that Anana guesses Denmark there. He is pretty good at Europe, so that's totally fair. Yeah, initial vibe was Baltic here, but I also was thinking of Sweden. So if you look at my video, like I was switching between Sweden and Estonia, but never really thought of Denmark. But it was Denmark, so fair play to him. Yeah, maybe if I went Sweden, maybe would have taken less damage, but yeah, it is what it is. Next round was New Zealand. Yeah, I mean, with these sort of green rolling hills, I was pretty confident in North Island. Not sure where really, so clicked middle. Ended up being closer, so got back, 1200 points. And then the very next round, I just lose a lot of health in Italy. And it kind of makes sense. Like, I should have at least clicked in the Alps, but I wasn't even sure at first if this was Italy. The long antenna with white car is kind of pretty good for Italy, so that's what I did. And also the big mountains, but I saw like this mountain and it looks like kind of dry and rocky. So I was wondering if it could be like the mountains somewhere in the middle, but I guess the mountains were like way too tall to be there. So that was a very good guess from Anana. Of course, he is from Italy and he's probably like the best Italy player. So it's never something you want to, you don't really want to face him on Italy. But yeah, that brought me down to 1400. He was on 4600, so that's big margin. Next round was in Czechia. We're both in Czechia. After that, we had Chile round with information, and I was just able to find the stuff quicker. Socaire, I don't know how you pronounce it, but something like that, which was right here. Found it fairly quickly, and also with those like mountains, it had to be somewhere around this area, I think. So got another 1100 points, but yeah, still this is round 5. I'm still 2k points below him. Next round was in Botswana, not too much damage, but slowly chipping away. But he got that back again next round in Greece, which was also just kind of generic, I think. Nothing much to help there, for me at least. Next round was quite surprising to me, actually, because it was the US for sure. We had this like Spanish moss and looked very, very sudden. We had some palm trees, also more Spanish moss there. No useful information really, um, but it was so sandy and like it looked very, very coastal. And also with the Spanish moss, I thought it had to be really south. This plate from a distance I thought was a Georgia plate, which I'm not sure if that's correct. Maybe not. Um, so I thought it might just have been a car from Georgia that drove into Florida, so I clicked Northern Florida. He's also in Florida, but it was South Carolina, which is kind of surprising to me. Um, but yeah, ended up taking some points off him there. And then I was really hoping for a big round because I was still quite a bit behind him. Only had 2 rounds left. And then we had this Kana round, which I really didn't expect I would win on or even pull off much damage on. We loaded in, I noticed it's Kana. I saw a big mountain to the east, and then on this sign it just said Obuasi, which I was 100% sure I'd heard of. So I just zoomed in straight away, found Obuasi right away, and then also this mountain here, so I just clicked Obuasi. I really didn't want to give him any time, just hoping for that slight off chance that he doesn't know where Obuasi is. And he ended up going far east, and that was game. That was a crazy game, you know? And in the end, it did turn out that if I didn't win this 2-0, I would have indeed been knocked out in the group stage. So this was very important for me to get that guessr correct. So that was pretty good. Can't really complain. Uh, and then I made it to the group, made it out of the group stages. And then I was up against Fungus. Let's see if there's a summary for that. All right, here it is. Then also here we have the second game. Okay, so I'm sure you guys saw this because this was the only game being broadcasted. This was in the mainstream. Um, so this first round in moving was quite interesting because in the beginning I did see these mountains. So I did think, oh, this could be north. And then I moved like a lot. I'm sure you guys saw it on stream. And then I reached a road number, which was like 2-1 something. Um, let's see if I can quickly find it right now. It's like, was it this direction? No. It's probably on this road though. Somewhere here, I think. I found these signs. I didn't know where they were. I think at least I found those signs. Or maybe not actually. Maybe I went the other way. I don't really know. But I did find a road number which started with 2. Yeah, I think it was this way. Yeah, right here. 2248. And the way Thai road numbers work is that the ones are usually in the north, the twos are in the east, threes are like kind of around Bangkok, and fours are in the south. So when I saw the 2 road number, I was certain that it's in the east. And then I just started scanning for it. But I should have sort of remembered at that point that I did see mountains, which would have made me click probably in a more mountainous area. Although I probably would have clicked like here. No, but that's the trees. So yeah, maybe I would have gone all the way there, found the 2248, but I kind of forgot about the mountains. So I understand his guess, and I'm pretty sure he didn't find the road number. But yeah, that was a pretty solid start. And then you guys all saw that I just didn't guess on the second round, which was kind of annoying because I knew it was Slovakia right away with the poles and the car and everything. And then I reached that sign like at the end of this road. Um, let's see if I can make it there fairly quickly. Okay, it's taking me a while. Maybe it wasn't this direction actually. Anyway, but you know what happened, right? Oh, it's this way, right? So yeah, I basically find that one sign. I can't find it now. Okay, whatever. There was a sign with like a map on it, and I saw that map. It also had like a place name on it. So I zoomed into Slovakia, scanned for the place name, and I thought I left a marker down. Um, and then kept moving on to find more info. And then last second, I look at the map and I see that my marker is not there at all. meaning I had forgotten to place my marker again. And that cost me the game because this is 1.5x damage. So, if this was 1x damage, I could have at least survived. But nope, that cost me the entire game. So, a bit rough, but, you know, kind of deserved as well because I just didn't guess. The no moving game was also quite interesting. Um, we started in Israel. I'm actually surprised that it was not in Israel, in fact, because I was like certain it's not in Israel, but not really. So he got a bit of damage there. Next round was in Nigeria. Again, he got a bit of damage. This India round, I'm sure a lot of people were expecting I would recognize it. So let's go over it again. Um, so India, I can speak both Hindi and Marathi. Marathi is the language that's spoken in Maharashtra, and they both use the same script, basically, the Devanagari script. Um, so I was looking at some of these words because other than that, I didn't really have much information. It was slightly hilly, it was kind of dry, which kind of makes sense for Maharashtra as well. That's what I was thinking. And also these like thin brown poles are very common in Maharashtra. Um, but yeah, this was in Jharkhand in the end. And to be honest, Jharkhand, Bihar, and some of these got coverage quite recently. So I didn't really know too much about them. But I could definitely see this being Maharashtra. That's what I was leaning towards. So I started looking at the info. Not that you can read it too well, but this says Shruti something something. This I couldn't really read, but it's like digital seva probably, and then something like something before that, which could have been both Maharashtra or could have been Marathi or Hindi. Cheswal, I guess if I saw that, I probably missed that. That would have been more of a northeastern name, so I maybe would have considered that, but it's not like I don't know any Cheswals in Maharashtra. And then, oh yeah, we also have this Hari Om Nagar. This sounds so much like that. Doesn't say Jharkhand, right? No, 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 no. It says something else. It's hard to read. Oh wait, wait. Oh no, this is actually okay. I saw Hari Om Nagar, but I don't think I saw what's written below it. It says Hari Om Nagar mein aapka swagat hai, which is Hindi. Hari Om Nagar by itself sounded Maharashtrian enough to me, so I just clicked Maharashtra in the end. But if I had seen this, the line below it, that is Hindi. And I didn't even see it later on. Like, this is the first time I'm noticing it. So yeah, if I see Hindi and then with this landscape, I probably go Chhattisgarh because Chhattisgarh often looks like Maharashtra, which would have been here. So that could have been actually big damage now that I think about it, but didn't really see the Hindi, assumed it could be Marathi. Um, that's brutal. So yeah, he went Haryana, which is, you do get Hindi there, but landscape wise, yeah, this area fits a lot more. So yeah, missed opportunity, let's say. This was Chile, again, kind of northern. I think we both tried lining up the road. I don't think either of us found it, but I got some damage there. And actually, I was in the lead at this point because there's quite a bit of damage. Next round as well, we both clicked somewhere in Norway. I got some more damage off him, so I was actually having a decent lead at this point. Um, Israel round, not much happened. And then I did the same mistake in Italy that I did against Anana. That's not clicking the Alps, even though, mountains this big, I should probably go Alps. So that cost me another 2600. But then this guess could have won me the whole game because let's see, can I quickly skip over to the replay? Um, this is Chile. Oh yeah, right here. Let's see, can I slightly... Let's take a look at this Russia round again. on stream. Okay, so this is what we had.
Is going to sting, and there it is, Paula. You called it. You called it. There it is, Paula.
Everyone, let's get it trending in the
Be
chat.
impeccable with your word here.
So this is where we were in Russia.
Guys. Mohan guesses. He promised a 2KO and was even close to a 3.
And
big round
and
there. And that swings everything.
Okay, I'm just
going
to mute this because it's hard to commentate when they're speaking. I mean, it's clearly Russia here. And it's wintry, which is what sort of threw me off the most. I look at the car, you can see it's got the black car with antenna. Looking in the distance, if I can see anything useful, I see that the antenna is not blurry, so that kind of eliminates Sakhalin for me, because Sakhalin can kind of look run down, wintry with black car, but it's got that blurry antenna, which wasn't there, so I could safely rule out the east. So now I'm thinking where in the west this would be, because it definitely was not east of, let's say, Ufa in my head. So I was thinking in the west, and we had a lot of birch trees, which is what sort of, if you look at the 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 trees and sort of it feels like a very cold place, if you feel what I mean. That's what made me click St. Petersburg in the beginning, if you saw that. I was looking for a phone code there. But yeah, if you see, I zoom in, I click the like east of St. Petersburg in the Leningrad Oblast. And then I moved because I was like, I've never seen winter coverage there, so maybe it's probably not there. So maybe it's some other oblast, but I don't know which one. So I hedged a bit closer to Moscow because if it's like Tula or something, I don't know. And it ended up being in St. Petersburg, and that's you can see me being disappointed there as well because this was 2.5k, but if I had the correct oblast, that was game basically. So I could have easily won on that round in no moving game. And man, that was really, really annoying to have to lose just because I didn't trust my gut. But that's also lack of experience in Russia, to be honest, because if I had played more Russia games, I would have probably known that winter coverage exists in St. Petersburg and maybe considered that. But yeah, I didn't know that. This round was just Germany. We were taking our own sweet time with it. I was trying to read the manhole cover. Sometimes, I don't know if that's a thing in Germany, but in some countries you can read place names there. For example, in Spain, you can sometimes find a place name. I didn't really know where to guess in Germany. And Fungus, I think this whole time was not sure it's Germany at all because it's a white car. I didn't really focus on it too much because it really had to be Germany in my head. It couldn't have been anything else. But I had no region guess there. Just thought it's somewhere north. The houses looked a bit Danish to me, so I kind of wanted to hedge for Denmark, but yeah. In the end, he just ended up plonking on the 5k basically, so yeah, not much you can do there. Then I'm down to like 300 health. So yeah, brutal. And then the last round was just in Colombia, which at that point I was like 2k health below him, and Colombia is like one of the worst countries of mine. East of Andes makes sense. I thought about it, but basically I'd given up at that point because I knew that there was no way I'm getting 2k damage on him in Colombia. So yeah, kind of annoying to go out that way with the Russia guess and also not guessing on the previous round. And now looking at it, even the India round, I could have gotten a lot of damage there, but it is what it is. It happens. It was a fun game nonetheless, and Fungus went on and did really well. Like he played his game against Consus has to be like one of the best games of the whole tournament. So yeah, um, that's what it is. So that's all for my games. Overall, I think I did pretty well. Didn't really make super embarrassing guesses other than that one game against RC where I clicked Romania on Austria. Other than that, can't really be too upset. Um, yeah, so that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is a really long video, so I'm not going to keep you waiting. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.